There's something strange that happens when money stress takes over your life. You're not actually thinking about money itself most of the time. You're thinking about the lack of it. You're lying awake at night, genuinely awake, staring at the ceiling at 2 in the morning, wondering whether that strange noise your car is making means you're about to spend 3 grand on repairs you absolutely don't have. You sit in meetings at work, but you're not really listening to what your boss is saying. Your mind is somewhere else, quietly calculating whether your next paycheck will cover rent, groceries, and that one bill you forgot existed. At the grocery store, you're doing mental math aisle by aisle, deciding what you can afford and what has to go back. You turn down plans with friends, not because you don't want to go, but because you're running numbers in your head to see if you can afford to participate. And it's exhausting, not the kind of tired that sleep fixes. This is mental exhaustion, psychological exhaustion. Your brain is stuck running in the background, constantly trying to solve an equation that has no solution, stretching money further than it realistically can. Most people think this is what financial stress is, not having enough money. But that's only part of the problem. The real issue is that when you don't have money, you don't have peace, you don't have calm, you don't have control, and you definitely don't have confidence. My name's Prime Gorilla, and I've spent an unhealthy amount of time thinking about money, not just how it works, but how it feels. More specifically, how to build something most people chase their entire lives and never quite reach: financial calm. And it's not what most people think it is. If you're curious what real financial calm actually looks like and how to build it step by step without needing to be rich, hit the subscribe button. And if this helps you finally stop stressing about money, give the video a thumbs up. Financial calm has nothing to do with being wealthy. It's not about having $1 million, a fancy car, or the ability to retire tomorrow. Those things might come later, and that's fine, but they are not the same thing as peace. I know plenty of people earning 6 figures who are constantly stressed about money. They worry about losing their job, they worry they aren't saving enough, they worry inflation is destroying their buying power. They're still doing mental math at the grocery store, just at a higher income level. At the same time, I know people making $40,000 or $50,000 a year who sleep peacefully every night because they've figured out something many high earners never do. They've built financial calm. Financial calm is the feeling that if something goes wrong tomorrow, you'll be okay. It's walking into a grocery store without debating whether you can afford name-brand cereal or need to buy generic. It's being able to say no to opportunities that don't serve you instead of saying yes out of desperation. It's declining that sketchy side gig or uncomfortable job offer because you have options and time to find something better. It's waking up in the morning and not immediately thinking about your bank balance. You're not checking your accounts in panic. You're not doing emergency math to see if you survived the night. That's financial calm. And once you understand the real building blocks, it's not nearly as hard to create as people think. Most people believe financial calm is distant, rare, or reserved for rich people. It's not. It just requires building the right things in the right order. The first building block is what I call a calm buffer. Most people think making more money is the first step to peace. That's wrong. The first step is creating a small layer of insulation between you and disaster. A calm buffer is essentially an emergency fund, but the name matters because what it really creates is calm. When you have $1,000 sitting in a savings account, your brain operates differently than when you have zero. That $1,000 isn't going to change your life or fund retirement, but psychologically it changes everything. It represents options. It represents the ability to handle surprises without panic. Your car breaks down and costs $500. Instead of lying awake wondering how you'll pay for it, instead of putting it on a credit card at 20% interest, instead of borrowing money from your parents and dealing with the awkwardness, you just fix the car. You write the check. It's annoying, it's inconvenient, but it's not a disaster. It's not a crisis. That's the first level of peace. You move through life differently when you know there's a cushion. You stop obsessing over every potential expense. You stop constantly running worst-case scenarios. When you reach 3 months of living expenses, something deeper shifts. You cross a psychological threshold. You're no longer in survival mode. Most people living paycheck to paycheck operate entirely from fear. They stay in jobs they hate because they need the paycheck. They stay in toxic relationships because they need to split rent. They can't invest in themselves because their brain is locked on immediate survival. With 3 months saved, your brain gets the signal that you're okay for now. You're not about to lose your home, your kids will eat, the lights will stay on. Once your brain receives that message, it turns down the survival alarm and starts thinking about growth. That's when real peace begins. The second block is control. This is where people often get it wrong. Control does not mean obsessively tracking every penny. That's not control, that's anxiety. Real control is simply knowing where your money goes. Most people don't. Money just disappears and they're left confused. You gain control by doing something boring but powerful. Track your spending for a month, not to judge yourself, not to feel guilty, just to see. Once you see, you get to make choices. You realize you're spending $400 a month on subscriptions you forgot existed. You notice $300 disappearing on coffee and meals that weren't planned. And once you see it, you can decide what stays and what goes. That's control. And control creates calm. The third block is eliminating the kind of debt that destroys peace. Not all debt is equal. A reasonable mortgage isn't the same as credit card debt at 22% interest. Student loans that build earning potential aren't the same as personal loans for vacations you barely remember. High-interest debt, especially credit cards, is different. It's a trap disguised as convenience. You spend $200, but interest turns it into $400, then $500. You make minimum payments, barely touching the balance. It's slow financial suffocation. You've been drowning so long you forgot what normal breathing feels like. Paying off credit card debt isn't just a financial move, it's a peace decision. People describe it like a weight being lifted from their chest. They didn't realize how stressed they were until the debt was gone. The fourth block is building confidence through small wins. Saving your first $1,000, paying off your first card, finding an extra $200 a month. These victories stack. They prove you're capable. Confidence builds momentum, and momentum builds more wins. That confidence spills into your career, your relationships, and your decisions. You negotiate better because you're not desperate. You're more present because money isn't constantly stressing you out. You trust yourself because you've followed through before. The fifth block is understanding that financial calm is psychological as much as numerical. The math matters, but mindset matters more. Scarcity thinking keeps people stuck. Calm thinkers see money as a tool, saving as power, and investing as freedom. Once you have calm, control, and confidence, you stop thinking about survival and start thinking about growth. You notice opportunities you ignored before. You take calculated risks because you have a buffer. You build intentionally instead of reacting in panic. Financial calm isn't far away. It doesn't require a massive income or luck. It requires following a sequence. Stop the bleeding, build a small safety net, gain control, win small battles, shift your mindset from scarcity to growth. Start with $1,000, build to 3 months, track your spending, eliminate high-interest debt. This isn't glamorous. No one goes viral for saving $1,000 over 6 months, but this foundation is what separates people who find peace from people who stay stuck forever. Once the foundation is set, then you invest, then you grow income, then you build wealth. But from peace, not panic, from control, not chaos, from confidence, not desperation. Financial calm is available to you right now. It takes patience and discipline, but the peace on the other side is worth every bit of effort.